This is the Hypothetically Sound podcast,
hosted by Alec, Randy, and Xavier,
where we take a hypothetical look at the world around us,
exploring the what-ifs, maybes, and how comes.
Join in on the unfiltered, raw, and real conversations
as we explore the world around us. Welcome back to Hypothetically Sound. We hope you are having a great day. As always, I am one of your hosts, Randy, joined by the other host, Alec.
How's it going?
And we are continuing our journey on Apple Music's top 100 albums of all time. Today, we are on album number 83, Horses by Patti Smith.
Yeah.
Now, Alec, this is way before our time. I'm pretty sure our parents were like
kids.
They were younger than 10 when this album came out, so definitely before our time. What do you know of Patti Smith before you listen to this album?
Yeah, not a thing, man. Not a thing.
Same. I've heard some of her music in like circles of talking about experimental music and things of that nature, and like just punk rock in general, but I had never actually taken the time to sit down and listen.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously haven't either because I've never heard of her. Yeah. But reading the description that she is a legend in punk rock, I was kind of excited because I'm into punk rock. Spoiler, I learned very quickly that 70s punk rock is much different than like 2000s punk rock.
Yeah, so this is definitely the birth of punk rock. For you people at home that are listening, like that are like me and Alec and have never heard of Patti Smith, don't worry, I got a little information explosion for you on Patti Smith. So Patti Smith is often held as the punk poet laureate. She is a multifaceted artist known for her impact on the punk rock movement. She was born in 1946 in Chicago, then moved to New York when she was in her 20s, where she became really big into the art and music scene. A lot of Smith's work blends rock music with poetic lyrics, drawing on the influences from literature, visual arts, and her own experiences. Then, in 1975, she released her debut album, Horses, which is very widely regarded as a seminal work in punk rock genre. It was produced by John Kell of the Velvet Underground, and a lot of Patti Smith's work up until this point was considered underground rock. A lot of people say this album defied conventions with its raw energy, poetic depth, and it blended rock and roll with a punk edge, hence punk rock. The opening track of the album, Gloria, famously begins with the line, "Jesus died for somebody's sins, but not mine," which set the tone for the album because she says herself that this album is for certain people. It is not for everyone. So it is completely understandable if, like, a lot of people, you don't get the album or the album's not for you, because that was her intention. She had a specific audience in mind, and that is what she went for.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
So yeah, this is very early punk rock. We're talking at this point in time when this came out, punk rock had been around for maybe a couple years at this point.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that was a quick little in-depth view of Patti Smith. I hope it gave you guys a little more understanding of her and what you're getting into when you listen to this album. I knew none of this before I listened to the album. I always do my research after listening to an album. So a lot of my notes and my feelings on the album are about not understanding her or the music. I centered a little more after doing the research, but it's part of the process.
Yeah, I mean that's also fair. However you do it is however you do it. I don't expect a lot of people to look into artists when they listen to albums, anyways. To be fair,
you get attached to the sound of
this. This is how people like find out their favorite artist are actually creeps or something that were depicted in the 80s. You know what I'm saying? Like,
true. That's very true. So you ready to tackle this? What is it?
Yeah,
eight track album.
Yeah, it's 8 tracks, 43 minutes long.
So long. And that is because she has 2 songs that are over 9 minutes long.
Yeah. Yeah, she does. Yeah, she does.
As I stated in the get to know her portion, the first track on her album is Gloria. So it had an interesting sound, and I don't know about you, but I've said like artists sound like other artists. I 100% think this is where Gwen Stefani got her sound from.
Okay, that's fucking weird. I'm
Is
not
that what
gonna
you
lie.
said?
No, that's not what I thought. That's just a weird. It did not sound like anything like Gwen Stefani to me. I think you're just high.
Yeah,
I
fair.
think you out here just baiting. You're baited for any kind of connection at this point. It's your shtick, and that's
I'm
what you're
telling you,
doing.
it is Gwen Stefani has that like punk rock sound to her, and this is where she got it from. I'm telling you, she listened to Patti Smith growing up.
Bro, I don't think Gwen Stefani's that old.
Gwen Stefani's like 50, dog.
Okay, our parents are like 60, dog, and they were like 10.
So Gwen Stefani can't listen to older music growing up? Okay, we'll get off topic.
I guess. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I think you're reaching, but that's fine. That's fine. When it comes to this song, I hated the intro to it, and I was ready to turn it off. Obviously, I can't because I have a job to do. But yeah, I hated the intro to it. But like within the first 2 minutes of the song, the tempo like switches twice, which I thought was
it does
kind of weird. And both tempo switches and her going at it was pretty decent, honestly.
No, yeah, like the instrumental of this album it's really good. But it can be jarring. Like I thought there had moments where it was very in your face, and that's her purpose.
Oh yeah, it's very, very chaotic sounding.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, I just didn't know what to expect for her. So like it starts and you're like the intro's a little weird, and then it gets going, and then it switches, and it was wild to hear for the first time.
Yeah,
and I bet it was crazy to hear in the 70s for the first time.
Bro, I quite literally wrote, I bet this hits in some little town back alley bar for real.
Oh yeah.
And it picks up more towards the end. And I think I liked it better towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it has a nice, like, as for a punk song, like, this is what you want to, like, you can tell, like, she influenced punk in general because it has this, like, garage bandy sound to it.
Yeah.
That isn't like, oh, this was recorded in the 70s kind of sound. No, it sounds garage bandy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is such a good sound for just punk music in general. So
yeah. No, I agree. I gave the song a 5 out of 10.
I also gave it a 5 out of 10. It was just average.
Yeah. Like I can see people who love it. This first song, I was in the middle of the road of the song.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, it's good to have a 5 out of 10 at the start because that's a good benchmark of, is it better than this song or is it worse? You know?
Yeah, yeah. Which moves us to track number two, Redondo Beach.
Yeah.
And it was drastically different than the first song.
Dude, yeah, it was such a weird sound to go from the first song into this like Caribbean
yeah.
beat. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I also say Caribbean weird at first because I was saying it as it's written. Like a toddler who sounds out words. Yeah, it was so weird, man. I was expecting more of like that first sound, and then I got that second one.
I was expecting more punk in your face, like experimental sound, and yeah, like you said, a Caribbean kind of flow came on, and just like that's not what I was expecting, and it was a little jarring. And I know, honestly, still right now, I don't know if I liked it or hated it.
Yeah, I was very indifferent about it. Also, I want to point out from the first song, I like the sound of her voice. Like, I just liked her voice.
Yeah.
I did not like it in this song because it sounded like she was eating a banana while recording. Like, her mouth sounded full the whole time.
Oh, she definitely, like most people when they experiment more with the instrumental part of the music. She is a full experiment with sound, tempo, flow, vocal, like everything that she can possibly experiment, she's going to.
Yeah. As for the song, like the meat and potatoes of the song, the content of the song, and the lyrics, it's about a girl who drowned.
Oh.
It is hidden behind this like really joyful-ish beat and her kind of like almost upbeatish like vocals. But yeah, it's about a girl who just drowned at the beach one day.
Oh, that's wild.
And like she left her friend and ended up drowning, and then they found her. And again, it's one of those songs, it's just upbeat. You kind of just like when it's in your ear, it's fine. You don't really think about it. And then when you like listen to it, it's like, oh, that's kind of fun. It's the 1970s version of Pumped Up Kicks or Hey Yeah.
Yeah.
You know. So
that's a wild look into the song that I did not know. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't read the lyrics as I listened to this album.
I didn't start because I figured I didn't really need to, because a lot of 70s music is very direct. And then I heard something in there and I was like, hold on. And then I looked it up and I was like, okay, so I did hear correctly. So yeah, overall though, I don't really like the song that much. I gave it a 4.5 out of 10.
On a scale of was it better than the first song, it was the same for me. I gave it a 5 out of 10.
Yeah, I think the whole like her with the banana in her mouth sounding like you know, she got like Shakira vibes.
Yeah, no articulation.
Shakira definitely listened to her growing up and got her sound.
Like that's a reach. Gwen Stefani is a very close match.
Okay, you're telling me she doesn't sing like
I'm gonna look this up after this episode, and I'm gonna be right.
Okay, you be can. Wrong. Okay, that's cool. You're a dreamer. I respect it.
Which moves us to track 3, the first of 2 9-minute songs. And boy, did it feel like 9 minutes.
Oh my god, man. This song was not for me at all. The storytelling in it is cool and all, and it's good. And if you want a song to sit down to and take a journey, man, this is sure. Yeah. Okay. It does sound good at times when she gets into like the singing portion of the song. And I say that because like she's essentially just telling you a story and then like gets to a chorus and sings a little bit. But you get there and you're like, damn, this is long as hell. And you look and you're only 2 minutes in.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh shit. Oh no.
Yeah, 9 minutes is far too long for a song because as it goes on, you forget what came before. Like, it's a lot to process as you're listening to it. And so, like, halfway through the song, I'm like, what happened in the first half of the song? Because I don't remember.
It's a lot. It's a lot to take in.
And this is the first point listening to her album where I'm like, okay, this, without knowing Patti Smith, this album is just an experimental album where she sat down and just made the music that she wanted to get her message and her feelings across, and that felt like art to her. And it wasn't about making hits or like, I didn't know this about her, but like this is where I felt it in her album. And just 9 minutes, it's a long time for a song, but it makes sense. Like knowing her now and like what she was about, it makes sense. It wasn't great to me. I didn't like it. The ending was better than the rest, like the last quarter of the song. It's just, she was shooting for an audience, and I'm not the audience she was shooting for.
Yeah, for sure. This song was a solid 3 out of 10 for me.
It was also a 3 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, this shit gets an instant skip off of the first
note.
Like, on God. If I ever hear a song, it is. There's not a lot of songs that I mess with that are 9 minutes long, and I know there's going to be songs on this like Apple's music list somewhere that I would be like, yeah, I really enjoyed this. But like this is just one of those that I could not be bothered to ever give it another chance.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be some rock anthem, probably like a Metallica or something like that. That's just great instrumental, 4-minute break, drum solo, guitar solo, and then a singing solo. And you're just like, yeah, I jammed to that. But yeah, this isn't one of those things. Which moves us to something I wish was real: Free Money, track number 4.
Yeah, man. I also versus Rose, but this gives you the vibes like instantly of some like old timey bar scene. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you are just chilling in a very smoky bar in the '70s,
Mm-hmm.
and they got live music, obviously. And I actually messed with this. It slowly picks up into like the garage band sound that you want to hear, you know. And like maybe it's because it follows Birdland. But I welcome that shit so much, man. And once that momentum picks up, she maintains it, dude. Like she goes 0 to 100 and then stays. It is a solid song. Like it is like a really good. Like this is what like punk is for sure. Like I gave this a 7 out of 10. I thought this was really really good.
Yeah, no, I agree 100% with everything you just said. I'm not gonna lie, I had to listen to the song twice. At this point after Birdland, I zoned out towards the end of Birdland and started doing D&D stuff. And then I realized that I went through a whole song without listening to it, so I went back. And boy, did I make a mistake not listening to the song the first time. Like you said, it picks up and takes you on a nice journey. And yeah, you can see it in a club, and like I visualize movies and scenes or something. So it's the people who go to a bar and there's been some bad performances, and then Patti Smith sits down and starts her song, and like some people pay attention. And then as the song goes on, it picks up, everybody starts paying attention. It's like one of those scenes that you have seen in movies about music. And that's what she did. And it was fantastic. I also gave it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of funny. We are very, very close on that. I think we're 0.5 off so far.
Yeah.
This is the closest we've ever been. I think we said that like 2 albums ago or something like that. Like this is like quite literally the closest we've ever
We'll
been.
see if like then if we go off different paths or if we stay synced.
Yeah. And we'll find out right now with Kimberly.
Yes.
So it's a catchy beat.
Okay.
Off the bat, it's catchy. She sounds good on it.
Yeah, I thought the instrumental was fine and her vocals were fine. But outside of that, I wasn't a fan.
Yeah. She sounds like she tries a little bit too hard on her verses.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, like it's bound to happen. Sometimes you do force, and every artist has that. Taylor Swift, Beyonce, they all have songs where it is clearly forced.
Yeah. The chorus though is short, simple, sweet. You know, I can't really be mad at it. Again, I'm probably a little jaded from Birdland still at this point because even with these two songs, I'm about a minute or two left of like equalizing that 9-minute tragedy.
Yeah.
I gave it a 5.5 out of 10.
Like I said, while I didn't think it was bad, I don't think the sound is bad. There was nothing that set it apart, and it wasn't as good as some of the songs I rated before it, so I gave it a 4 out of 10.
Okay, that's fair. I think
Gloria is better.
Okay, that's fair. I'll give you that. I was gonna say I don't think it's worse than Redondo Beach, but I gave it a 4 point. I don't think it's worse than Redondo Beach.
Probably not. I would have to listen to it again, but at that point, it just didn't. Like I specifically wrote, it didn't catch anything for me.
Yeah, that's fair. No, that's
Redondo
fair.
Beach. I think why Redondo Beach got a higher rating than this is what it followed, and being such a drastic sound. Like I think Kimberly after Birdland would have got closer to like a 7, just like Free Money, because of how drastically different and refreshing it was.
Yeah.
But following Free Money, which I actually liked a lot, it kind of fell into, okay, this is where I think it belongs. Like if I heard it regularly.
Okay. Next we have Break It Up.
Yeah. I
Go
actually like
ahead.
this one as well. Sorry.
No, yeah, it wasn't bad.
Yeah, I thought it was an okay song. Slightly better than some of the other tracks, so I thought it was better than like Gloria, Redondo Beach.
I would have to agree that it is better than Gloria.
Mhm.
It sounded like it could have been like a punk anthem type song,
Yeah.
but it doesn't quite hit that level.
Mhm.
Like, I don't know what was about it. I feel like she just like was raising it up and then just never hit that drop you
Yeah.
need. Right.
Like, it could have been like an 8 or 9 if it went hard, if it had the same momentum that Free Money had.
Yeah. Yeah. If it
If it would have crescendo, can't say that word right now. Excuse me for not being able
crescendo.
to say word. Thank you. Yeah. If it would have done that in the song and kept it rise and rise and hit its top, yeah, the song would have been like an 8 or 9 for me.
Yeah.
Uh, with that being said, it is only a 6 for me.
It is also a 6 for me.
Which is fair. I think it's a very fair rating for the song. I do feel like a lot of her songs, and this is part of being experimental, and like being on a small uh genre at the time and develop a sound. Uh Artists nowadays, or even artists in the late 70s and 80s, uh at this point they have the machine behind them to fine tune songs to do what songs need to do to be popular. And at this point, it's her making this music with one producer, uh, small band, small label, first sound, uh, first album. And so like she doesn't have that machine behind her to like, this is great, but if you add this, it's phenomenal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which moves us to the longest 9 minute song on the album, Land, Horses, Land of a Thousand Dances.
In La Mar de. It's a 3-part song.
Yeah.
So this one was weird because like these are three different pieces that she put together. They are connected, but at the same time they're not. The subject matter's relatively the same. If you didn't know it was a 3-part song, you probably like if you listened hard enough would be like, oh yeah, this is all connected, blah blah blah. It's one big song.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a 3-part song that okay, it's really weird because normally I like I said earlier, I don't really mess with super long songs.
Yeah.
And this one actually has like 3 ratings for me.
Okay. I'm gonna
This
let you go.
this is what is considered like her like breakout like best song, right? This is like
Mhm.
where the influence comes from. You hear it in the song, right?
Yeah.
You understand that like this is you can hear the punk in it. You can hear like everything that she's built up in the album into this one song. And I think like if you're into Patti Smith or you want to learn about Patti Smith, you should listen to this song.
Mhm.
And with that, it's like that's a 7 out of 10 for a one-time listen. It's a 7 out of 10,
Okay, fair.
right? Uh Again, you like you said, it's the longest track. Uh the part 1 does a build up to like part 2 and it connects very well. And it sounds really good sonically. Um her voice is cohesive with the backtrack and it gives off again that 70s garage band sound. And it definitely felt like it should have ended around 7 minutes, but that's when they get into part 3.
Mhm.
And I honestly was over the song at that point. Like I
Yeah.
said, it's a lot. It is a lot. Uh but again, as a one-time listen, man, like as a 7 out of 10, like this is the influence and like this is probably the song that like made her that legend of the scene, right?
Mhm.
Um if it was a song that you would listen to multiple times, it's like a 5 out of 10.
You're fair.
Uh, so I like as a final thing, I just settled it as a 6 out of 10.
Fair, fair. You're a lot more generous than me. Uh,
Yeah, it's because you're an asshole who doesn't like music.
I agree with everything you said. This is the song that if you are first trying to learn Patti Smith, what she's about, her sound, her genre, her poetry, her everything, this is the song to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
I put in notes, I see her audience through this song. I see who she's going through this song. It is not a bad song by any means, but this song made it pretty clear I am not her audience. The 9 minutes felt like an hour to me. It didn't sound bad or anything like that. It made very clear, and it's just unfortunate it took to track 7 that 100% in going forward, I would never listen to another one of her albums, because it's not meant for me. Like, we have conflicting styles of music, and I just didn't enjoy it like I was supposed to enjoy it. I gave it a 3 out of 10.
Yeah, I think that's extremely harsh, honestly. But that's fair. I mean, that's your opinion, obviously. Again, I think it's harsh.
No,
I think it's good for what
understandable.
it is. I also don't think it's for me, but like for what it is definitely more than a 3 out of 10.
No, that's
Like,
fair.
that's pretty low. I'm gonna argue with you on that one. I'm sorry.
Like I said, everybody has their own opinion, and I just
yours just so happens
didn't
to
click
be
with
wrong.
me. Nah, yours is wrong. 7's wild.
I said I gave it a 6 out of 10 total. I said lowest at 5 is in between. It's calm down. I said a one-time listen 7 out of 10.
6 is still wild.
No, it's not though.
5.5 is as much as I'll go.
That's so dumb. That's so dumb. Anyways, that wasn't the last song of the album.
No, it was not.
You get to how the fuck do you say that?
Elgerie?
There's no R in it. It's Elegie.
Elgerie.
Randy, stop putting an R in it. There's no R. Stop adding
I put R's in everything.
You should stop.
Like radar.
Radar has an R. It has 2 of them. What?
Yeah, the guitar in this was a nice change.
Okay.
But overall, I don't think the song was amazing or anything to me. Decent closure to the album. Honestly, probably should have ended at 7.
I don't know.
To be fair,
I liked it. It has this.
I bet you
ominous,
gave it like a 9 of 10.
I did never. I thought it had like a more ominous, sad tone to it. It's actually my favorite song on the album, to be fair.
Oh wow. I did not have a favorite.
It's short. It has a poetic form of verses. It's just a poem in musical form. She sounds good. The guitar is an insane touch, as you mentioned before. It was nice. It's a very artistic type song, and I really liked it. So I gave it a 7.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I give it a 4 out of 10.
Okay.
It was a good song. It's not for me. And
dog, you say it's not for you one more goddamn time. I get it. Okay, they get it.
It's stop critiquing my scores. You're being very judgmental because I'm not giving it high scores like you.
I'm not giving them all high scores. I just feel like
you're giving like 18 of the songs. I feel like
you hit, dog. I feel like you hit Birdland and then said fuck everything else. You hit Free Money. You're like, okay, that's good, and everything else is just shit.
I gave Break Up a 6. I gave Free Money a 7. I gave 2 other tracks a 5. I literally have 1, 2, 3, 4 tracks that I have half of the album 4 or lower, and half of the album 6 or higher. I think that's pretty fair.
Just say you aren't artistic and don't understand the artistic value of some of the music that you listen to, and I understand. I get it.
No, I get. You know, this is gonna I can't argue it because it's gonna sound like you don't get it.
Yeah, it's a losing battle. Honestly, if I was you, I would transition.
Yeah, so like I get that this is this album is much more closer to spoken word poetry album. Obviously, I didn't know it at the time when I was reviewing the album. It wasn't my type of poetry. Everybody has their own type of poetry, their own type of art. It just didn't click with me. I like later, more current punk rock, 2000s punk rock, that more fits with my personality. Overall, I gave Horses a 4 out of 10.
Yeah, I gave it a 5.75 out of 10. That's what my scores average out to be.
I didn't average out my scores. I went by the heart, and I gave it a 4 out of 10.
Okay. That's fair. I like to do my mathematically.
That's fair. That's fair. Like, what's the point of grading songs if you're not going to find the median?
I can't go with my heart anymore just because I've done so many mathematically like this. Mm-hmm. However, with that being said, I would not recommend this album, even with it being a 5.75.
I would to certain people.
See, that's weird because you don't have friends.
And thank you guys for so it's that time of the.
You want to do the shout out? You feel really sad. You need something to lift you up. You sure?
Your time to shout out.
Shout out to all the dreamers out there. The ones that think Gwen Stefani got her sound from this. You know, the ones that always put songs low, but it's just because it's not for them. Shout out to all those types of people.
That sounds like the best type of people in the world.
Yeah, maybe, man.
It sounds like the type that makes you dinner every night and doesn't expect any kind of reward for doing such things.
You say it that way. It sounds like you're looking for the, like, you know what I'm saying? That's weird. That's weird. I do appreciate it, though.
Yeah,
let me tell you.
Thank you. That means a lot. My heart grew like I'm the Grinch. But thank you guys for listening to this episode.
Disease. You should probably check that out.
Hey, yeah. We hope that you guys enjoyed this chaotic episode. We tried to be as experimental as Patti Smith. It's up to you to decide if it worked or not. As always, you can find us hypothetically sound on everything. We recently started a Reddit page as well, so you can find us on Reddit even. And as always, until next time, have a great day. Deuces.
Bye.
My throat started being bad.
I heard it.
Thank you for listening to Hypothetically Sound. We hope you enjoyed the episode. All episodes can be found at hypotheticallysound.podbean.com, as well as on Apple, Spotify, and Pandora. For full unedited video versions of the podcast, please visit us at youtube.com/hypotheticallysound.